Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Mondays Down South. As you can see, I am back, but we're missing Evan Maroney, so we're trading places a little bit. And you can also see a nice throwback to season 1 of Mondays Down South. We got some OG guests, Mr. Matt Penny and Mr. James Wells in the building. Thank you guys for coming back. We're looking forward to having you on with a more professional podcast, as Zach sips his sake, as he was telling me prior, so he seems really excited about that. I got a lot to get off my chest this week because Zach and Evan decided that because I was gone last week, they were going to start trying to roast all my takes and all my teams, which, isn't looking too good for them right now, in my opinion. But we'll delve into that in a minute. I'm going to shift over to James and Matt. It's been a few seasons, so I want you guys to be able to talk a little bit about who your teams are, how things are going for you guys, and then we'll jump into some recaps. So, James and Matt, the floor is yours. James, you can start us off.
Oh. So
crazy, easiest money in my life.
Stop that. So I'm very excited for where obviously my team is right now, but I don't want to get too excited because I did the same thing in 2012 and I was depressed for many years. So I'm gonna slow roll my excitement until I see more. But we'll see. I think we have the right quarterback in place, but we'll get into that. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, Matt Penny, 6'1", 218 pounds, 4'3", 440.
Whoa.
It just rolls off the tongue. I'm so used to saying it. Sorry. I'm an Eagles fan. It's been just an up and down roller coaster emotionally, mentally. So, we're starting off looking exactly like we did the second half of last year. So to say I'm concerned is an understatement, but we're in a very winnable division as long as Jayden Daniels isn't the second coming of God, which he kind of looks to be like right now. So we'll see how the rest of the year goes. But we appreciate you guys having us back on. We're very pumped to be here.
Absolutely. And just for you guys, we started Quick Sticks. No. I'm saying we started Quick Sticks because I got on this pod. And as soon as I was on your pod, I reached out to Matt and I was like, that was the most fun I've had in a while. So we should do the same. So thank you guys.
True story.
There you go. And you guys have been running Quick Sticks for a long time, making a lot of traction, had some players on your podcast, but it just seems like Sam Tripp is missing in action. Do you guys still run this podcast back? What's the whole deal behind it?
Honestly, I'm the one who's missing in action.
Now. Yeah. Yeah, Matt's got an extra player on the team. He had a little one this year, so it's been a little slower. That's all.
It's been the availability's gone significantly down.
Well, I gotta say is the quad box looks just fine. So, if little Austin needs to get on here, do his thing. I mean, the quad box is a nice little display here. All right, that's all I'm saying. But can I start, Cy? I'm going to start and pick on something that James said, and I think it is. It's very much replicated across the entire Washington Commander community. They're too scared to root for their own darn team, man. It's wild. Like, what are you nervous about, James? They haven't punted they didn't punt for 2 straight games. They only punted 1 time in this last game, and they dropped a 40-burger. What are you so concerned for? It's okay to root for your team.
This is exactly what they said in 2012.
It's literally exactly what we said in 2012.
Let me chime in before the understand. I don't remember Joe Theismann because I was 1 year old and I was born in India, so I was not here when that happened. But this man had his leg taken off the last time the Redskins were truly consistently in contention. Then it's the Commanders now, which is, a good change. I think it was a needed change. And in that time, they get a guy by the name of Robert Griffin III. And I hear the same kind of talk I'm hearing right now about Jayden Daniels. And of course, Robert Griffin III had a great season. And then at the end of that season, he never played football again, at least for the Commanders. And then we heard of Kirk Cousins. So I can understand the tentativeness. I stand by you, James. I try not to get too, on board with anything too quickly. But that was an injury play. Jayden is incredible. The only thing I have to say about it is I just hope you guys continue to do a better job of not having him run 800 times a game. That's the only qualm I have with your approach. I think your defense played really well this week. I don't think your defense is good. I think your secondary is absolutely terrible. But that's a conversation for a different time, because if you're still winning games and with the way you won this weekend, that's a good sign, because you went up against Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray, and you did very well. So if you keep this up, it's a good looking squad, man. And if I'm Matt Penny and I'm Eagles fans and Cowboys fans out there, I'm starting to get a little nervous about at least the long-term trajectory of the Commanders. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I think we're allowed to be excited, but also still be realistic. Like Zach saying, we can't be fans of our team. We're obviously all fans. We're excited, but dude, we've been here so many times. We've heard that we have this, we have that, and then it turns out to be absolutely nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna slow roll my excitement, because Jaden also hasn't shown he can protect himself. He's not great at sliding. He doesn't get out of bounds all the time. So he has a lot to learn. But I think the Commanders need to let people fail more. I think we're really hyperbolic, like one mistake and we'll move on to the next guy. But no, it's definitely exciting. But for Zach to say we're not fans, I mean, we're obviously fans, man. But have you been to FedEx? It's a terrible stadium. Like, there's still a lot we need to change.
They still haven't dumped food or sewage water on people yet. That's like coming week 6.
Oh, boy.
Week 6, that's when it's going to happen.
They tried to kill Jalen Hurts.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not. Oh my god. Speaking of Reddit conspiracies.
I do want to say, though, I think obviously Jaden deserves a ton of credit, and I love all the memes and jokes about your punter getting to punt. Like, those are comedy to me. But I also think your RB tandem deserves a lot of credit, because Brian Robinson Jr. and also Austin Eckler are playing terrific, and lost in the excitement of the rookie is sometimes the players around them that are really showing out. Brian Robinson looks like a legitimate stud, and obviously we know what Eckler's capable of when he's healthy. So I do think they deserve a shout out. They're not getting a lot of recognition right now.
For sure. And it's a long season, man. I mean, even as a Falcons fan, you can understand we have to wait. Injuries, is this going to be sustainable over time? I mean, the difference between college and the NFL is there's not going to be guys who are starting to learn Jaden's game. Is he going to be able to have a play calling that's up against, his strengths, and does he have another gear? Does he have something else that he can get past? So that's usually where a lot of guys get hung up. So there's still we have so much more to accomplish, but this is still fun for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, James. And in regards to the Falcons, it's weird because the Falcons had all the hype going into the season offensively, but it's really the defense that has stepped up. I actually mentioned this in the podcast last week, but it was probably like the 42nd minute, and our average listener listens for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I don't know if they captured
we've already
that
lost
one.
them.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. But anyways, the Falcons offense has really struggled. And I hate to admit it, Cy, but I feel like we have to give Evan his flowers here and Kyle Pitts being a bust, because this is yet another performance where he has 0 receptions, 3 targets, can't seem to get open. I know it's a long season, James, but I think you can start to see, make some correlations, draw some conclusions based on players' play. And Kyle Pitts is disappointed so far. The Falcons' defense has greatly improved. You got Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons back there. It's like DB University all over again. I just don't know how much that offense is going to carry us forward. Whereas with the Commanders, it's the opposite. Defense, you already kind of knew was going to be a problem, but the offense is playing this Cliff Kingsbury rejuvenated offensive scheme, and it's working greatly. I feel like you guys are shocking NFL defenses because stylistically it's so different that maybe what you're alluding to, James, is I can't buy in completely because defenses may catch up, much like Brian Flores with Minnesota right now is keeping them, 4-0, an actual juggernaut in the NFC North, because he's scheming around a lot of these teams. So not sure who wanted to take that, James, maybe back to you.
Well, I think we're having the same conversation that I had with people with RG about RPO. Remember, it was unstoppable that year, and then it was very much stoppable, and we had nothing else after that. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the point where people stop us. Do we have something else? That's going to be the big question. That being said,
the same thing
I love
with Chip
watching
Kelly.
Yeah, actually, exact same thing. But Zach, I just want to say, for a Falcons fan, your running back is so fun to watch. I love the way he gets to the second level, and he's one of the most agile guys we've seen in a while. So I had to throw that out.
Which one?
from
Hero.
one round to the other.
Oh,
Rob.
Bijan.
Rob. Yeah.
Because Algier
Yeah.
got more carries somehow on Sunday, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Bijan
That's
was
interesting.
banged up a little bit. Bijan got
Was he?
banged up a little bit.
Yeah, I did hear that, actually.
He was weak a little.
He's a downhill
No,
runner.
Tim
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from contact.
Well, I actually have an interesting take on Bijan. I actually don't think he's as good as people think he is. Not because he's not skilled between the tackles. I think that's actually I think Algier is more skilled in that department, who was a 3rd round pick as opposed to a top 8 pick. But I think Bijan is extremely effective in between the 20s. Like when you're trying to get those quick bursts, incorporate those play actions for Kirk Cousins, Bijan's going to get those yardage for you. But I don't think he's great from the 20-yard line to the goal line. I think he gets stuffed in those in between the tackle plays. We ran that stretch run against the Kansas City Chiefs on a 4th down and 1, and he couldn't get to the outside fast enough. So I think Bijan, he's a great back, but I think he's more purposeful and better from 120 to the next as opposed to goal line situations. So I actually kind of see Arthur Smith's point with maybe not using him as frequently in the goal line. I think that's Algier's game.
I strongly disagree with you.
Dude, you used a 1st round pick on him.
I know. I'm not saying it was a good 1st round pick. I just screwed over Kyle Pitts. The Kyle Pitts pick. He was the 4th overall pick. Terrible pick.
No, I strongly disagree with you. Like I understand that maybe he's not as good for like a 2-yard run as Tyler Algier is. I'm not disputing that, but you don't need to always be a bruising running back to be the best, one of the best running backs in the league. Christian McCaffrey for most of his career wasn't the best in between the tackles runner that we've seen, but when he's used correctly, he's pretty damn unstoppable. The issue is for the whole time Bijan's been on your team, he's had Arthur Smith, who to be fair has been doing well in terms of winning games with the Steelers, but by no means is raising the ceiling of a player. And then the flip side also now is your offense is basically relying on Bijan to carry them on their back because your passing game hasn't been consistent at all. And he is doing it. Like you were staying in games and getting close to winning games because of Bijan Robinson. And yeah, he might not get the 4th and 1 stretch play, but why the hell are you running a 4th and 1 stretch play in the first place? Like, what do you want him to do?
The play call I had the issue with. Yes, thank you.
What do you want him to like fly over the entire line? Like, people would kill to have a player like Bijan Robinson on their team because the way he opens a team up and the way he opens up the rest of the offense is, only a handful of guys can do that. I think Bijan and Breece Hall are so special in that way. Like they're the young, dynamic, you can't touch me when I get some space kind of guys. And his receiving, he adds a whole nother receiver to your team. He's like arguably as good as any slot receiver with his hands that you have. Bijan's amazing, man. I love that man.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I want to turn it over to Mr. Penny over here. See what type of matchup he wants to pick on. I'm not sure if he wants to talk about the Eagles or not. Maybe we can rip that Band-Aid off here.
Oh, no, we're
or
talking about
do it a little bit later.
We can talk about.
Hold on. I just want to go back to the Commanders real quick. We're not skating over this because I will absolutely give the Commanders and Jaden Daniels their due, their respect. Like what this kid's doing is nothing short of incredible so far.
Yeah.
This division is absolutely a division the Commanders could, and as of right now, they're probably the favorite to win it because Dallas has been disappointing, Philly's been disappointing, and the Giants have my next door neighbor as their number 1 receiver, basically. Or number 2 receiver. Malik Neighbors is a dog. But,
I see what you did there. That was good.
So, they're doing great. I agree with what James said. It's a long season. Have you guys looked at the teams they've beaten? Because I will say some of the takes I've seen on Twitter are crazy. Like,
I agree.
They're going to win the NFC. They're going to the Super Bowl, which it's like, I get the hype.
No.
Every team they've beaten is 1-3.
You're not wrong.
The Bengals, the Giants, and the Cardinals, all horrendous or pretty bad defenses.
That's true.
So, all I'm saying is the Commanders their offense is absolutely legit. There's no denying it. Their defense sucks. So anyone out there saying Commanders are contending for the NFC, just bump the brakes. That's all I'm saying.
That's a bit high.
Yeah, that's blasphemy. I'm with you. Yeah, that's too much.
So
What's wrong with the Eagles?
I'll flip it over to the Eagles. Yeah, I'll talk about this all day. It's gonna get heated, but I will say, going into this game, like, yeah, anyone who put money on the Eagles to win this game, you're a swine. Because if you looked at the injury report, we're missing AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and our best lineman in Lane Johnson. What people are going through the roof calling Jalen Hurts the biggest bust ever. Like, they want Kenny Pickett to start. We get back from the bye week. It's like, how many quarterbacks can you name that could go out with, take away their starting two best receivers and take away their best linemen and play a team that won their division last year and win that game?
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yep.
I think the Jalen Hurts
100%.
I think the Jalen Hurts hate is like way too overblown at this point. I also think, I'll bring up my Colts later, but I also think like Shane Steichen is you can feel the impact of
I miss that man.
How incredible he was for you guys, on your Super Bowl run, and how good he was for Jalen Hurts. But the thing is, it's like obviously after he left, there was that adjustment period, and the second half of last season, y'all stalled a little bit. But I don't think Kellen Moore is like some lame run of the mill coach. Like, I think he's got some creativity to him, and you kind of saw that week one when you guys played the Packers. But the issue is, since then, you haven't had AJ Brown the whole time, and like you just mentioned, Devontae Smith just got hurt, and even then, y'all found a way to make Dallas Goedert look like Dallas Goedert in his prime. Like, there's only so much you can do when you can't keep your guys on the team. You've adjusted to a new center who Grimes has been awesome. The other thing I want to point to is at the beginning of the year, Zach came out here. He gave me my flowers later, but he came out here prior to the season started and said Saquon Barkley was going to be a bust this year, that it was like a bad signing and all this. Well, now you have one of the best running backs in the entire league, and if you the team, this man's efficiency is on a level that you've never seen, and people are trying to use metrics from like DeAndre Swift last year, Evan included, to try to prove that Saquon's still not that good. But just watch the man play.
Yeah, there's no denying it.
He's on a different level compared to. He's a top 5 running back, and it's not even really close. So I think when you guys get healthy, this team has a lot of potential. I'm actually more worried about your defense than I am your offense. I think there's more to figure out there than offensive. I think you'll be good when you get healthy, but it's the defense that I'm a little bit like, there's some layers that they need to work out there from the front line back.
And the DBs, Darius Slay, he's been getting burned left and right this entire season. Someone who has long been known as being like this state-of-the-art tier 1 cornerback. It's just, I'm so sick of that. He is getting burned literally every play.
Yeah.
He's allowed to take chances when their front 4 is their front that they used to have.
Right.
That's leeway.
The thing is that's when we went to the Super Bowl and won it, and we went to the Super Bowl and lost. The reason we made those 2 Super Bowls was because of our offensive line, our defensive line. That is Howie Roseman's bread and butter, and we don't have it this year. Our pass rush is probably the worst in the league. Bryce Huff has been, you might as well put me at defensive end. He's got 1 QB pressure and 1 tackle in 4 games.
That's crazy.
It's insane. But I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that I've been like arguing with kids. I'm very active on Eagles Twitter, and like everyone seems to forget that the only game our team has been healthy is Green Bay.
Yeah.
We had 3 turnovers in that game and still put up 34 points.
Yep.
So it's like, we've had 1 game with AJ Brown. It's the same thing with the Commanders. It's like, dude, just pump the brakes. It's week 4. And I will say, like,
exactly.
Jalen Hurts does not get a pass. The dude's turnovers are out of control. And they're like very Carson Wentz-esque, where he's holding onto the ball way too long. He's forcing throws. And it's like, dude, you can throw I'd rather you throw the ball out of bounds 20 times a game than throw 2 picks.
Agreed.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and Darius Slay and these veterans, I think they need to. I think Howie has too much pride, and our coach has too much pride to let these big names, quote unquote, sit the bench. But it's like Quinyon Mitchell has been one of the best cornerbacks in the league, let alone the best rookie cornerback. You've got Cooper DeJean now back, finally healthy. We have Kelly Ringo, who's just sitting on the bench. It's like, I think a time is going to come at this season where he finally wakes up and is like, I need to give these young guys a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on when that happens.
Yeah, I think getting your offense back on track will help with that too, in that context. Sorry, go ahead, James. I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this is exactly to my point. Like if the Eagles get healthy, right, and we've played teams that have only won a combined, in 3 games, like they beat us every time. So like, no, I can't sit here and get that excited because like I think a healthy Eagles still beats us right now. So it's
I
hyperbolic to say
disagree with that
otherwise.
because if I don't know how well the Commanders' offensive line is doing, but with how non-existent our pass rush is, Jaden Daniels will sit in a clean pocket all day, and he will dice our secondary.
Right. Yeah, but like you guys aren't.
That might be true.
Helping you guys is not even better than those guys. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we both made the same point. You guys have people who are hurt, and we also have we've only played teams that are subpar. So to say that we're going to win the NFC East or you're going to it's a failure of a season, I think that's incorrect.
Also, your statement about the cornerbacks. This is a callback to what me and Zach were talking about going into the Bengals game. We ended up being wrong because the Commanders ended up winning the game. So about the result, we were wrong. But we were not wrong about our analysis of what the Bengals wide receivers were going to do to St. Juice and to Mr. Forbes. And that is with no offense to Forbes. I just think he's always going to get crap because the Commanders did not pick Christian Gonzalez, which was just crazy. But imagine A.J. Brown having to be guarded by those guys, and then on the other side putting Devontae Smith next to him. They're going to go for like 400 yards apiece. Like it's going to be.
He was guarded by Emmanuel Forbes last year, and he had like 5 touchdowns against the Commanders.
He hit him with the little sign too, because
that's right.
His quads are like
dude,
that big.
You guys threw Forbes to the freaking wolves last year.
That's exactly my point. And then you also now have to worry about Saquon Barkley coming out of the backfield. That's the issue with the Commanders. This is why I said long term, if I'm in that division, I'm worried about the Commanders because Jaden is a great and Brian Robinson are great pieces to build around. Terry's still not old. Like he's starting to get involved. Like they got good players to build around. But I'm not out here as one of those guys. I want to make it clear. I don't think the Commanders are about to go win the NFC this year. Like maybe they'll sneak into the playoffs, but I'm not making that take right now. There's a lot of football to be played, and I don't want to overreact.
Why not, Si?
Right. Well, it's because I think their defense just has huge steps and strides to take. And Jaden's had an amazing 4 games, but as Matt alluded to, they haven't played the best defenses, right? Like I think all these teams that Matt has pointed to have had a lot of points put up against them. I mean, if you can give me one great defense, and this isn't me knocking Jaden. I've been in our group messages talking about how impressive Jaden's looked. I'm just saying, like, I can't go based off 4 games and off a team that isn't complete yet and just assume they're going to go win NFL games. It's not how
if Jaden goes out and does this against like the Jets or someone, I'm willing to be like, this kid's legit. Like this kid will. I don't care how bad the defense is. He can take this team places.
All I'm saying is that Jaden is throwing for 90% comp percentage. He's made more completions this season than AR5 has his entire NFL career. So it's just funny how you see potential doubts with Jaden Daniels when AR5 and the Colts offense, yes, they have Steichen, but I think it's a broken offense, and I don't think Joe Flacco's a permanent solution. So really, I think it could be a reflection of you wishing that Jaden Daniels was actually a Colt.
I want to clarify something. Real quick.
Such a good segue.
No, I want to clarify something real quick. I appreciate that Zach is looking for good content to try to maybe like rub me the wrong way and bring up AR. At no point did I say Anthony Richardson's better than
That's true.
First of all. Secondly, at no point did I doubt Jaden Daniels. I literally said word for word, if I'm in that division, I am worried because you have to worry about Jaden Daniels for years to come. So I think I made it very clear that I am a big believer in Jaden Daniels. I've been consistent about that. So me liking Jaden,
you know my tricks.
So me liking Jaden Daniels and me believing Richardson still has potential are independent things, right? If you want to go after AR, that's fine, Zach. If you picked a good week to do it because he played one drive, but the one drive that he played, he was great. He just got hurt after. We scored a touchdown on that drive, just so you know. The issue, though, is he got hurt again, which is not good because it's not gonna help with his development. The Colts won that game, which is why signing Joe Flacco as a backup option was a great idea. And not only did we win that game, we beat the 3-0 Steelers, by the way, who were undefeated coming into this matchup. And they may not be the best team in the NFL, but there's a reason they were winning games. And the reason we won that game is because Steichen, no matter who you put in there, will find a way to move an offense. And our defense has played great the last 2 weeks after looking really bad week 1 and week 2. So our roster, I think, is way more solid than they get credit for. Obviously, AR is going to be the difference. But can we not? Are you just not going to talk about how amazing Jonathan Taylor has been this whole year? Are we just going to cast that aside? We just got Josh Downs back, who was a massive piece for us, and he hasn't played in the first couple of weeks. It's a long season to be played, but we're 2-2, and we just beat a 3-0 team. So, yeah, AR, I'm not going to disagree with you. It's not like he's come out and played lights out. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. He was leading the league in turnovers up until last year. He's got a lot left to prove. But I'm not going off, last year and assuming AR is going to be the best quarterback in the league. I just think his ceiling is sky high, and I think I'm not out on him. I think people watched a couple weeks of him and immediately were like, all right, we're done with AR. He's got a bad completion percentage. You know who else had a bad completion percentage? Josh Allen. And you know who Josh Allen is now? One of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They're pretty comparable in that way. It's just going to take some time. Maybe he'll get there. Maybe he won't. I believe in him, and I believe in Shane Steichen. That's what I've said the whole time.
Dak, that was a pretty good response.
Yeah, well, he knows my tricks. I'm trying to get a rise.
I had that shit ready.
Yeah. I did. I had that holstered, man. All right, this is where I'll acquiesce. I'll give Sias flowers here because speaking of Josh Allen, the Bills played the Ravens. Ravens, right from the jump, smacked the Bills in the mouth. To no surprise, really, the Ravens started 0-2. Were they really going to go 0-3? They've had a really tough schedule to start. But at home in M&T Bank, that stadium's rocking. They're wearing their all blacks. The first carry of the game for Derrick Henry takes 87 yards, runs 21 miles per hour. That dude is 230 pounds. Can you imagine trying to tackle him? And Damar Hamlin's running after him like he's going to do something. Are you kidding me? Derrick Henry is insane. So the reason I want to give Sias flowers,
needs to be making business decisions, it's Damar Hamlin. Get out of the way.
100%.
So long story short, yeah, I will give Sias flowers because he mentioned after 2 games when Lamar was trying to make it the Lamar show and he was starting to throw turnovers, get back to your core. You got Derrick Henry for a reason in the offseason. Run him. They've run him over 20-something times. He's had more than 150 yards in his last 2 games each. And Lamar doesn't have to make the crazy play. He already is a playmaker, but he's more efficient now. And the Ravens are coasting. I think I could see 5-6 wins in a row from these guys. I'm not sure, James, if you had any thoughts on that matchup or another one you wanted to bring up.
No, I like the Ravens. I think we need to give quarterbacks a little more time to make some corrections. I think Lamar is doing some of those right things. Just real quick, do you think Kyle Pitts is a bust forever, or just this season? You think he's not going to be good?
I think he's bust, a bust.
But do you mean
Yeah, I think he's a bust. At this point, I think he's a bust. He's like Jordan Reed. He's freakishly athletic, but sometimes those guys just don't translate well to the NFL.
I don't think he's done yet, personally. But
it's hard to. Yeah,
I think he's done with Atlanta. I think he needs a new team because Sai brought it up earlier. Kyle Pitts was already deemed a bust when you guys had Desmond Ridder and whoever else you had back there. Everyone thought Kirk coming in was going to be revamping his career, making Drake London the next tier of wide receiver 1. Up to week 5, that has not happened yet. And like Sai said, you've got Bijan and Algier completely opening up the play action, the middle of the field. Why is Pitts not getting open? It's either play calling or he's just not getting the separation. So in my opinion, Pitts, I don't know. If you put Pitts on the great athlete. I just think he needs a new team.
But how do you fix that? So so James, back to you. Kyle Pitts goes to not the Chiefs because Andy Reid's going to make anybody magical. But let's just say the Seahawks, right? A team that's trying to take it to the next step. What do you do? How do you fix the Kyle Pitts problem? Do you run him in the slot? He's slower than a slot receiver. You see what I'm saying? How is he going to translate? Okay, what do you think?
So I think we maybe need to use him kind of sticks balls, what some coaches call it, but you need a 3rd and 5, and he goes 1-on-1 with the corner, and that's his game, opposed to domination. Maybe he's how we use Chris Cooley, a guaranteed 3rd down completion is more important sometimes than some huge tight end that's going to change your entire team. I just feel it's maybe he's in the wrong place because people said the same thing about Baker, and the list goes on of guys who are kind of making revivals just as they change teams. So I just think we need to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's done in Atlanta yet. I mean, this is week 4 of Kirk Cousins playing with them. Yeah, obviously he hasn't had any like incredible weeks, but at the same time, has Kirk Cousins thrown for more than like 240 yards in a game yet this year? Like, it's pretty hard to. And he likes to spread the ball out. Like, this isn't a Justin Jefferson era. Like, when you look at the games that they played so far, the ball gets spread out. He's not just going to one guy the entire game. I think Kyle Pitts is going to do better as the season progresses. They need to establish chemistry, and it's not just Pitts. It's like, I think Drake London could be way better than he has been. He's already been good. You're starting to see like the fruits of the labor of like a first-round draft pick in London. You know, now that he has a quarterback that can throw it a little bit better. But Cousins is not even close to what I think he's hopefully capable of, right? Like, that's what's limiting the Falcons right now. They have a good defense. They have a great run game. The issue is their passing game, and they need to sort that out. But if Kirk Cousins can get a little bit more healthy and they can establish that chemistry, I do think Pitts will be good. As a matter of fact, I would take the over on Pitts getting over 50 yards receiving tomorrow night. I think they'll probably want to make a statement after him getting roasted for not getting any yards last week, and maybe next week we'll be talking a whole different story. So I don't want to overreact on 4 weeks. The problem is, obviously, there's other seasons that we have to consider, but let's not forget year 1, he had over 1,000 yards receiving. I know that wasn't, it's been a few years, but that people just seem to forget that. Like, there's not a lot of tight ends who've had over 1,000 yards receiving, especially as rookies. Sure. Like, that goes to show how high his ceiling is when he's playing well.
Yeah. His rookie season was also 4 years ago. But I mean,
it's besides 24.
That's like saying, like, Baker Mayfield was, the year you're referencing, Cy, where Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards, Baker was still a Brown. Okay, this is not like last year. Wow. This is like, and he's shopped 4 different teams since.
I'm glad you brought up Baker, because Baker right now is cooking and is having a great career. So that's a great example.
Baker's bacon, man.
Yeah, and there's an example of someone who can get
you
hot.
Like that, James? On. You like that one?
No, I didn't like that. I know you were definitely one of the guys saying that Baker's a bust. I know you were that guy.
Oh, I was 100% that guy.
That you were wrong. Yeah, I know you were. You love doing this.
If there's one thing you guys will notice about our pod, it's like me and Zach can be polar opposites about this. Like, usually Evan and Zach are the ones that are like, and rightfully so, like, I'm out on this guy, and then I'm the one who is like, no matter how much they let me down, I'm like, no, he'll be better, he'll do better. So it's the eternal optimist in me, and that doesn't always pay off. So it's a 2-way street. That's where we all vibe together.
All right, so there's a matchup I didn't want to talk about. So Alexa and I went to the Panthers game, the Bengals-Panthers, and Bengals coasted 34-24. I was actually impressed with the Panthers offense a little bit. Like, they have a couple of playmakers. Like, Deontay Johnson's way better than I thought, and he's so much larger than I ever realized. Like, him being in Pittsburgh, like, he's a dog. Like, he was like breaking tackles. He was, getting released on like left flanks, beating people on go balls. Which is actually kind of refreshing to see, considering like the trash talk that comes out of like the Mike Heltons and the Brits, the cornerbacks of the Bengals. But one thing that I noticed, that is obviously no surprise to everybody, but the speed and the elusiveness of the Bengals receivers I have never seen that on a football field. Seeing Jamar Chase run routes in person was insane. He's so much faster than like what they show on TV, but he's also got like the perfect amount of strength to break the tackles he needs to without sacrificing speed. So between him going long for that 50-something yard touchdown, T. Higgins was huge, and a big bounce back game was used early from like a reception conversion standpoint, kind of like what James was referring to with what Kyle Pitts needs to be doing with whatever team he's going to be on in the future. But also, long story short, with Joe Burrow showing poise against not a great defense, I get it, but like they actually look like the Bengals again. So Matt, I'll pose this question over to you. How do you think the Bengals will fare out in the AFC North and for the rest of the season? They were 0-3, now they're 1-3, but they beat one of the worst teams in the league. Like, what do you think changes about them? Do you think they're now a playoff caliber team based on what you saw?
No, one of my preseason like bold predictions was that the Bengals would miss the playoffs. I think teams were way too high on them. They can never stay healthy, whether it's Chase, whether it's Higgins, whether it's Burrow. Those three on the field is like a rare occurrence. but it wasn't even about the Bengals. It's more just about the division they're in. I mean, the Ravens going into this season was like they were like the favorites to win the AFC. I think they still can win the AFC. No one thought the Steelers would be 3-0 with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields at quarterback, but their defense is fantastic. The Browns, like, yeah, they're probably 500 at best, but that division is just way too competitive. I do think their offense is insanely dynamic with Zach Moss and Chase Edmonds. Is that his last name?
Mm-hmm.
Chase Brown, yeah, Chase
Yeah.
Brown. So yeah, I mean they have a prolific offense, but their defense is not healthy. Even when healthy, it's not a great defense. But I don't know. I think if their offense plays that well as they did against Carolina against other teams, sure they can make a run and win that division. I just don't see that happening. I think it was a fluke because Carolina's defense gives up 1,000 points a week.
I think they're missing as like.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I think they're missing guys like Jesse Bates a lot because he was obviously like a big anchor for their defense. My hot take is I still think that they will make the playoffs, and I actually think they're going to have a better record than the Steelers at the end of the year. Just as we see it progress, I think Burrow and them were ice cold coming into the year, and I think like just getting a little bit more momentum. I think there's going to beat teams by scoring more points than them, assuming they can stay healthy. Obviously, health being the biggest issue. I just want to give a quick shout out to my boy Xavier Legette. First big game in the NFL, touchdown, 6 receptions. I love to see my Gamecocks balling. We always get one big time player in the NFL doing something, and he's ours this year. So watch him and go listen to his interviews. I promise you guys will enjoy him. So yeah, James, I think you want to talk about something. So please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious. I want to hear you guys' takes on the Patriots and what they need to do and what they're not doing this year. I mean, anybody can take it, but I just want to hear what do you guys think the Patriots need to do?
Easy. Lack of talent. Jacoby Brissett is washed up and he's a great backup, but not a full-fledged starter. And I've only watched their last couple games, specifically the Jets game where they could not get anything going offensively, but that carried forward. I think it's coaching. And I think it is like lack of experience with coaching. And I think it is the players just are not talented whatsoever. So I actually think the Patriots could be in the running for being the worst team in the league.
So here's my question, because this is Gerard Mayo's first year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So as a rookie head coach, it's your first season. Come on, you're not going to be very good.
Mm-hmm.
Why in God's name would you not let Drake May just go? Just unleash him. You know what you're getting out of Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I think the main issue there is the offensive line and the weapons. Like you need to give him more.
Yeah, I agree.
Before you throw him to the dogs, right? You don't want another Bryce Young situation where he loses all his confidence and is kicking himself every week because he's out to the dogs. And then the other thing is, I'm not saying this is a reason they aren't doing it, but the Patriots are used to winning a lot, and then they went from Tom Brady to Mac Jones and not winning. The amount of pressure a guy will get in New England playing quarterback with the expectations they have and everything with the new coach and everything, I think it's just a ton of pressure. So I would give him as much time as he can. I think Jacoby Brissett is the perfect veteran person to learn from because he will teach him how to stay grounded. Brissett's like an amazing locker room guy, but that's just my take.
I disagree, dude. I think Mac Jones lowered the expectations to an all-time low. There's no better time to want to take the reins in New England. You win 4 games and they're like, we got our guy. But I do agree. No one's talking about Ramondre Stevenson has fumbled in every game this year, and everyone is talking about. I can't even name the receivers. They have nobody. So I do agree. Bryce Young, you put Patrick Mahomes on the Panthers, he's not winning, 9 games. It's not a quarterback issue as much as it is a team issue. So I totally get that. You want to get weapons, but they're not adding weapons. They're not drafting receivers. They're not, adding free agent receivers. When is that going to start? I just don't get it.
But what if Drake May tears his ACL, right? When you throw him to the dogs, then you're.
Well, if that's your outlook, don't play him ever. He could do that any game.
No, what What I'm saying is, are you really going to risk that injury this season in the hopes that like you want him to be there down the road? Like why? Obviously, I'm biased because I've seen so many times with the Commanders this happen. But like, you're also you have to mitigate that risk, man. I mean, that changes your timeline 4 or 5 years out.
Yeah, no, I
Just
get
because
that.
you wanted to try something out.
I think as a rookie coach, though, like unless Gerard Mayo is just being like, look, this season's a wash. We're looking towards next year already. I don't know. As a rookie coach, like you obviously want to win as many games as you can. So I don't know. It's just to me, it's just
I get it.
To me, I think you're right. I think they went into this season being like, we're not going to compete. Let's just have Drake watch Jacoby, learn from him, and we'll see what we can do next year.
They also don't have an identity, right? Like the Patriots were a strong defensive team.
Right.
They had Tom Brady. They were known for comebacks, what have you. Like what are they known for? Like what they don't have that right now. So they have So I get it. Obviously, my team's been there for a while, so I definitely get that.
100%. Okay, but turning it back on to James with a hot seat question. NFC North, Minnesota's 4-0, and they just beat the Packers in Lambeau. Now you got the Lions, who came off an incredible performance on Monday night, primetime game, absolutely smoked the Seahawks, who were 3-0 at the time, right? The NFC North is pretty crowded. Green Bay is also going to be there as well. Chicago, I think it's safe to say they're not going to be around. Do you think Minnesota will be a playoff team this year? And if so, why? Do you think they also may win the division outright? Like, I'm just curious to see how good you truly think Minnesota is.
I mean, I honestly think it's because of Justin Jefferson. It's not even Minnesota. I think they make the playoffs because of him, 100%. Like nothing else needs to really be said. I know that sounds crazy, but like they, put everything aside. I mean, he can really carry them, and he has before. So yeah, I think because of him solely, they are a playoff team. That being said, I do think the Lions are very well coached and not a team that you want to see in the playoffs or when it gets close to the playoffs too. So I definitely think Vikings make the playoffs, and I think it's because of Justin Jefferson, 100%.
Yeah, I think you get 3 to 4 teams in that division making the playoffs this year. Honestly, like even the Bears, I'm not ruling them out. They just won again this week. Their defense is so good. The Vikings, I think, do need to deserve deserve a lot of credit for their defense, though. Like as amazing as Justin Jefferson and that offense is, their defense has held it down and given themselves that opportunity. And then, of course, we all know the Lions are good. They got all the way to the NFC Championship. We don't have to talk much about that. Their defense is even better. But the Packers are the ones who've been hurt and are somehow managing to like stay in games and such. What are they, 2-2 now? I think they're even not even close to their ceiling. So that division is crazy. I do want to flip that script though. What do you guys think of the Jaguars being? And we got to be kind of quick because we got to get to picks. But what do you guys think of the Jaguars being 0-4, guys? Coming just to start the year. I mean, this is a team that was about to win the division last year with like a game or two left, and then you saw all the injuries and they didn't do it. They're 0-4 with Trevor Lawrence. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I don't really know what's happening there. I think, unfortunately, I do think Doug Peterson's probably going to get the blame and get fired at some point this season. But it's to go back to James's point. Like, I just don't know what the Jaguars' identity is. Like, are they a passing team? Are they a running team? Like, I just don't think they can figure it out. And like, Trevor Lawrence is just such an inconsistent quarterback, and that's kind of been a career problem so far. But that division like used to be a laughing stock, and now it's like you could easily have 2 playoff teams from that division.
Yeah.
So I don't see them doing anything, but I didn't think they'd be 0-4. I don't think anyone picked that, but I mean, I think it's going to boil down to the only thing. They're not going to get rid of Trevor Lawrence. They're not going to get rid of any of these big guys. The one person you can get rid of is Doug Peterson. On board, like when they announced Rashee Rice was out, all these kids, everyone was like, oh, the Chiefs are done. I'm like, have you guys still not learned? It doesn't matter who is lined up at receiver.
Doesn't matter.
And the Chiefs just show how important good coaching still is in the NFL. Like that system is built to have any personnel in it whatsoever.
100%. I also heard Devontae Adams is very much on the trade block, and the Chiefs could be working on that. But probably they probably have to give up a second or third round pick, which they might. I just wonder about the money situation. But if they can make the money work somehow, it's literally the perfect fit because they very likely could be out multiple multiple players for the year, right? So you don't want to. They already lost Hollywood Brown. We don't know when Rashid comes. So if we can get Devontae with Patrick Mahomes, please give me at least 1 year of that.
If we
as in NFL
viewers.
fans, like we as in
Good save.
NFL fans, that's not a save. I'm not a.
He's like,
switching.
I know. He's Skip Bayless. He's literally Skip Bayless. He's like, what? What'd you say? Jeez.
What?
We as in the
Christ.
NFL diaspora can get, Patrick Mahomes and Devontae Adams. You're going to watch pretty amazing football there.
You don't
Yeah.
have to explain yourself. People with logic got you. It's okay. We got you. We got you.
People with
I don't know,
logic.
Taylor. Travis Kelce's not looking too hot these days. He looks a little
Did
down.
you guys see
Not sure
Todd
potential
McShay's rant
breakup.
on him about how Taylor Swift has ruined him?
No.
So
Dude,
dumb.
he was talking about how Travis Kelce's just been partying all off season. He's out of shape. He's he has no conditioning, and it's just like
Just
he's still got it, guys. He's just not putting up the crazy numbers he usually does.
Just wait till the playoffs come around and he'll
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all going to be back to right. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
that's true. All right, well, we'll jump into week 5 here, and we will give our picks for the game based off of the spread. Starting off with this Thursday night game. All right, what I'll do is I'll kick it over to Matt, James, and then Cy will play cleanup. We'll just go from there, all right? So Buccaneers playing the Falcons in Atlanta. You definitely know we're going to be pumping in that artificial crowd noise for this game. We carry a minus 1.5 spread. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Falcons are going to win and cover minus 1.5 in a massive NFC South matchup. Matt, what do you think?
Bucks money line.
Bucks money line, easy, like easy,
Yeah,
so
this
easy.
is
Wait, hold on.
Like, what are we doing?
starting off with the homer pick.
Like, why? Like,
Son.
Dak is the worst at this, man.
I actually, you guys aren't going to like me for this, but I'm taking Falcons to cover personally. I kind of have to. At
Can I
home,
just? I know you guys want to do this lightning round. Based on what?
AJ Terrell, dog.
they're-
Bijan
they're-
Robinson, dog. Tyler
Oh.
Allinger, dog.
So we're just gonna sit here and act like the Bucks don't have any dogs.
Zach, you can't.
Mike Evans is
You
50.
can't be, you're talking on both
Stop.
sides of your mouth, man.
You
On
can't
one
talk
hand,
about how
Bijan is
Robinson
like,
was
oh my
overrated for like-
god,
for
thank
like
you,
10 minutes on the
thank you.
podcast. and then
Bijan is great in
Oh.
between the 20s.
Shut up, Zach. I can't take
Dude,
this.
I
man.
swear to God, man.
All right, we got to keep this
That's-
moving, guys.
Yeah,
Sorry,
just
here we
keep going.
Sorry.
All right,
Sorry.
Baltimore Ravens playing at the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore carries a 2.5 spread. Shit, man, this is tough. I'm going to say Bengals, or no. Ravens win and cover minus 2.5 in Cincinnati. Matt?
Yeah, agreed. That's. I was expecting to hear like 5.5, 2.5. They cover that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ravens cover for sure.
Bengals money line.
Wow.
Mm.
Based on what?
Is this just for content?
No, I
Yeah,
promise.
I love it.
Possibly.
No, you guys have to know I'm not like a hot takes guy. I'm a go with the gut guy. I think the Bengals got momentum, and I think Baltimore coming to their house, they're gonna put up a lot of points against that defense. Well, just why?
I mean, if you guys want content, there's a lot of takes out there that the term momentum doesn't exist. It's not a real thing because you can't put it in analytics. So
this
Oh
is
my
that'd be a
gosh.
good.
Oh my
Yeah, a lot of
gosh.
people are saying that. I mean, you can't though. You can't put momentum in analytics. How can you?
true.
Yes, you can. There's a formula for it. We just haven't discovered it yet.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Okay, analytics don't exist.
Sorry. Keep going.
Oh shoot! Sorry, guys. All right, all right. Cleveland Browns versus the Washington Commanders. Despite the Browns looking really bad in their last game and being 1-3, the Commanders only hold a -3 spread in Landover. I'm going to say Washington wins and covers that spread. I'll kick it over to Mr. Penny.
Yeah, this is the best defense Jaden has faced by far, but Brown's offense is awful. I still think Washington covers.
Yeah, same. Commanders cover.
I'll go Commanders. I'll go Commanders at least win. I'll do cover 2-1.
All right, cool. We got Jets playing at the Vikings in London. This can be a crazy game. Minnesota holds a 2.5 spread. I'll kick us off. Man, I don't know what happened with the Jets last week. I really don't, but I'm going to rock with the Jets and rock with the veteran quarterback, and I'm going to say the Jets win, or I guess it would be Jets money line at that point. Matt, I'll kick it over to you.
I think this game's going to be closer than people think, so I'm going to take It was 2.5 plus 2.5.
2.5 Minnesota's way.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Jets plus 2.5. I don't think they'll win, but I think it'll be close.
Well, I think Vikings win and cover.
This is so hard.
It's tough, yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers playing an NFC North team will make the difference in this one, and that's why I think the Jets will win this game.
I wish we got into Aaron Rodgers. I'd love to hear you guys take on.
Yeah, me too.
Next time.
It's not
All
for
right.
sure.
Next game here, we got the size Colts versus the 0-4 Jaguars. Despite being 0-4, they carry a -3 spread going up against Flacco and company, and it is in Jacksonville. I'm going to say Jacksonville wins and covers here. Matt, I'll kick it over to you.
Yeah, I agree. I think they got to win at some point, and this is a good opportunity for it.
That's just not true at all. Nobody has to win at any point.
Analytics show they do.
Okay, it's 2016. Anyway, I think Colts
was
are
8
going to
years ago.
win and cover. Like, still the notion that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's a fallacy.
I think
Statistics. They're bound to win a game.
so. I'm going to say this: Anthony Richardson was limited this today, so it's not. We don't actually know for sure who the quarterback's going to be, but I think people are leaning Flacco is going to start. Jonathan Taylor most likely won't play. He has a high ankle sprain, so we're out two of our best players. But I'm still picking the Colts to cover just because I think our defense will show up, and I think Joe Flacco has proven that he can lead an offense. So I'm going to go Colts.
What grade is that high ankle sprain? Do you know?
It's not bad.
Lingering.
Okay. They said it'll be like they're not putting him on the IR. They already announced that.
Okay.
All right, well, we've got two teams on high ankle sprains. The Dolphins versus the Patriots right here. 1-3, epic matchup. New England has a -1 spread. I'm going to say New England actually wins and covers this one, despite the fact that this is the worst game of the week.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami has the worst offense I've ever laid two eyes on right now. I'm taking New England. I don't care what the spread is. I'll take New England.
Yeah, I'll take New England. They look so bad last week. That was hard to watch.
Dude, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm actually taking Miami to win this game. I think it's going to be Tyler Huntley starting this week, and I think that their weapons they'll find a way to win with their weapons because I have no reason to believe in the Patriots either. I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Yeah, Tyler Huntley did a great job last week too with his weapons. Yeah,
He had 23 yards in halftime.
I'm not worried about the Patriots either. We'll see what happens.
This is what happens when you sign Jalen Ramsey to a 3-year, $72 million, and you have no cap space to actually build a successful team. But maybe that's for another
And
podcast.
Tua doesn't wear a guardian cap. But
You signed Tua to like a $200 million contract. It's not like they didn't have money for a quarterback. Zach, you just making shit up as you go along.
edit that
Jalen
out. Edit that
Ramsey
out.
should not have gotten paid 3-year, $72 million.
That has
Stamp.
nothing to do with them. They have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua Tagovailoa, and Devon A-Chain. What more do you want for their offense, man?
I don't know, but apparently Tyler Huntley, your boy, didn't do anything with those weapons.
Oh,
so
okay.
we'll
He
see.
loves throwing in your boy. Would you say one thing? Zach should moderate the next debate. This is ridiculous. Jesus.
All right, we'll keep going on this one. We got the Bills playing against the Texans. The Bills have a -1 spread, although being in Houston, I'm going to say Texans have a big stamp here. They win the game and they cover. Or I guess so. So I guess it would be money line actually because Buffalo carries -1. Matt, over to you.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Buffalo has a huge bounce back week. I'm taking the Bills.
I'm going Texans on this one.
I got Bills winning and covering.
Oh, we got a split decision here. All right, moving on to the next one. Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears. It's going to be an interesting game with the Bryce Young trade and all the fiasco behind that. Chicago is a -4 spread. I'm going to say Chicago wins, but they do not cover. I think this is actually going to be a pretty close game. Carolina seems to be playing relatively well with Dalton, veteran presence. Matt, over to you.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bears win, but it's going to be close. So I'll take Carolina +4.
Yeah, I'll take the same as what Matt said. I think Bears take this one. But I think it's a really good game. I think it's really entertaining.
I'm going to take the Bears win and cover just because I don't think Andy Dalton's gone up against a defense like this yet. I think that's going to be the difference.
All right, you got business decisions team Las Vegas Raiders playing at the Denver Broncos. Broncos snuck out a win. They've won 2 straight. Divisional matchup. Denver has a 2.5 spread. I'm going to take Denver to win and cover. I think this is actually going to be a statement win for Peyton. and I actually think Bo Nix is going to play pretty well. Matt, over to you.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Denver.
I'll take Denver on this one.
Yeah,
I like some things Bo Nix did last week. I'll take him.
yeah, I'll go Denver. Although I want to give a shout out to Trey Tucker. If Devontae Adams gets traded, people pay attention to him in fantasy football.
All right, we got another divisional matchup. Arizona Cardinals playing at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers have a -7 spread. This is a little bit for content, but I actually do believe this. I think the Cardinals are going to play very similarly to how they played Buffalo week 1 on the road. Give me the Cardinals to win this game money line against the 49ers.
Oof. All right. I will not take money line, but +7 is a huge spread. I'll take Cardinals +7, but I think San Francisco wins.
Yeah.
In cover?
Yeah, in cover. I think they'll cover. Yeah.
I think Niners win and cover.
All right. Green Bay Packers playing at the Rams. Rams are pretty banged up. Green Bay is 2, but they do hold a -3 spread. I love what I saw from Jordan Love last week. Even though he threw 3 interceptions, he had 4 touchdowns, threw for 350 plus yards. Give me the Packers to win this game and cover -3 in Los Angeles. Matt, I'll kick it your way.
Yeah, I agree. I think Packers win and cover.
Rams are very banged up. Definitely Packers cover.
It's ridiculous how many people Jordan Love throws the ball to. It's actually amazing. Packers win and cover.
Yeah. I actually love that spread. It's probably my favorite spread so far, knock on wood. All right, we got the last 425 game. Giants playing at the Seahawks. Giants have been playing better ball, so the spread's not astronomically high. It's -6.5 for Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle wins and covers. With Kenneth Walker coming back, they need to win off the bad loss against Detroit. I think Seattle comes in and destroys.
If Malik Neighbors doesn't play, I take Seattle win and cover. If he plays, I'll take Giants 6.5. He's in concussion protocol, so I don't know if he's playing.
I got Seahawks. Seahawks cover.
I think even if Malik Neighbors does play, he's going to have to score 30 points by himself, if not more.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm going to take Seahawks.
Sure. Are the Giants playing that much better? Okay, sorry,
yeah, Matt, we might have to check you into a concussion protocol for that pick, man. I'm not going to lie, with the Giants covering +6.5 against Seattle in
Listen,
Seattle.
They played well against, much better than people thought against Dallas. Everyone thought that was going to be a blowout.
That's fair.
Speaking of the Cowboys, they're playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 8:20 p.m. Sunday night game. Pittsburgh has a 2.5 spread. This can be a great game. Oh man, this is tough. Are the Steelers really that good, or the Cowboys need a win? Cowboys defense played pretty bad. I'm going to take the Cowboys money line here on the road in a night game. It's going to be hard to win in Pittsburgh, but give me the Cowboys with Dak's new contract.
Yeah, I'm going to take Steelers win and cover only because Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are both out.
Oh, what happened to Parsons?
I don't know, but he's out for a couple of weeks.
I think
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I got Steelers.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go Steelers just because of the injuries. Micah and DeMarcus are huge losses. I'll go Steelers.
I didn't know that. I changed my pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, final game. We got Monday night game. New Orleans Saints playing at the Chiefs. The Saints have been crushing it. At least they did the first 2 games. Now they've dropped 2. Need a win. Kansas City -5.5 spread. I'm going to take Kansas City to win and cover. I'm going to join that side train that he always asks Evan and I to join. So why not? Chiefs win and cover 5.5. Matt?
Yeah, playing in Arrowhead is not when you want a losing streak to continue, but that's going to happen. I'll take Chiefs to cover.
Same.
You're going to have to play
cover.
They're going to cover with 8 backups playing. That's just what the Chiefs do. Yeah, Chiefs win and cover.